Welcome, dear viewers, to an epic study of the most debated relic in human history. Look closely at this wet photographic glass plate inside a darkroom where a great modern shock was born. Is it the authentic burial cloth of Christ, or just a clever medieval hoax made to deceive? In 1988, advanced carbon dating shocked the world by declaring this ancient linen fake. But microscopic pollen grains from the Judean desert tell a completely different story now. Let us begin our forensic journey by examining the highly detailed markings left upon this ancient cloth. A faint imprint of a bearded man appears symmetrically on both the front and back of the linen sheets. Anatomical experts confirm that the image reveals precise details of a brutally tortured human body. Swellings upon the face match the heavy blows recorded in historical descriptions of Roman trials. Furthermore, the scalp shows distinct puncture wounds consistent with a crown woven from sharp desert thorns. Hundreds of linear lesions stretch across the back, mimicking the cruel marks of a Roman multi-tailed scourge. Each wound reflects the exact physical trajectory of metal balls used in ancient flagellation devices. According to medical analysis, the chest cavity reveals a massive pierce wound on the right side. This specific injury correlates perfectly with the historical description of a Roman lance strike. Bloodstains around the wrists and feet follow a precise V-shaped flow caused by crucifixion gravity. Pathologists argue that no medieval artist could possess such flawless knowledge of blood-clotting physics. If this is an artistic fabrication, how did the creator master modern anatomical science centuries ago? Share your thoughts in the comments as we uncover the layered mysteries within these sacred threads. For generations, theologians and scholars have clashed fiercely over the true origin of this artifact. To understand this enduring dilemma, we must trace how the cloth suddenly emerged in Western Europe. Records from the early centuries remain shrouded in deep fog, filled with legends of hidden relics. Some chronicles claim it was preserved in Edessa before moving to the brilliant capital of Constantinople. Following the brutal Fourth Crusade, the mysterious shroud vanished entirely from Eastern royal treasuries. It would remain hidden for decades, protected by secret societies before its public revelation in France. Now, let us step back to the 14th century, where the first official documentation begins. In the year 1357, a widowed noblewoman exhibited the shroud in the village of Leary. Crowds of pious pilgrims flocked to the small stone church, seeking a glimpse of the holy relic. However, this sudden exhibition triggered immediate suspicion and fierce backlash from local church authorities. According to an old memorandum, Bishop Henry de Poitiers launched a rigorous investigation into the matter. The angry bishop declared the shroud to be a painted fake designed strictly for financial exploitation. He claimed to have discovered the very artist who confessed to painting the lifelike human form. Yet, despite the official papal restrictions, the shroud survived through centuries of political turmoil. It found a permanent home in the magnificent royal chapel of the House of Savoy in Turin. For hundreds of years, the relic was revered purely through the lens of blind religious devotion. Everything changed forever on a historic night in May 1898 during an exhibition. An amateur photographer named Secondo Pia received rare permission to capture the shroud on film. He adjusted his heavy brass camera, completely unaware that he was about to alter history. Inside his dimly lit darkroom, Pia carefully submerged the large glass plate into chemical developers. As the image materialized under the amber light, the photographer gasped in absolute disbelief and awe. The negative plate did not show a ghost, but a perfectly detailed, three-dimensional, positive face. The actual image on the linen cloth functioned structurally as a photographic negative. No painter from the Middle Ages could possibly conceive or execute a negative image format. How could a 14th century forgery possess optical properties discovered only in modern times? This shocking revelation thrust the relic directly into the harsh analytical arena of modern science. Decades later, a team of global experts gathered to perform the ultimate technological test. In October 1970, NASA scientists spent 5 intensive days testing the fabric. Their data proved that the image contained absolutely no pigments, inks, oils, or brushstrokes. The coloration was strictly limited to the topmost carbohydrate layer of the linen fibers. It appeared to be a microdehydrated burn caused by an inexplicable flash of intense energy. Yet, just as the miracle seemed plausible, a devastating scientific blow crushed the Shroud's defense. In 1989, 3 prestigious laboratories received small cut samples for carbon dating. The world watched in shock as Oxford, Tucson, and Zurich delivered their unanimous cold verdict. They concluded with 95% confidence that the linen was made between 1260 and 1390. For many, the case was permanently closed. The sacred shroud was labeled a clever medieval fake. But true science never rests, and modern researchers soon uncovered a critical, systemic flaw. Historical archives reveal that the chapel in Chambéry suffered a catastrophic fire in 1532. The silver chest melted, dropping molten metal onto the folded fabric and burning its outer corners. To repair the holy artifact, devout Clare nuns carefully wove new cotton threads into the damaged edges. Modern textile analysis suggests the 1988 sample was taken exactly from this repaired zone. Therefore, the carbon testing measured a chaotic mixture of ancient linen and medieval repair yarn. Furthermore, forensic botanist Max Frei discovered vital evidence embedded deep within the cloth. Using specialized tape, he extracted microscopic fossilized pollen grains trapped between the fibers. Under electron microscopes, these specific plant species were identified as native to the Judean desert. Many of these plants bloom exclusively in the spring around the ancient city walls of Jerusalem. This botanical code proves the fabric existed in the Middle East long before arriving in Europe. If the cloth is not a simple medieval painting, what alternative explanation satisfies all data? This brings us to the most brilliant, mind-bending alternative theory in scientific history. Some modern researchers suggest the shroud is actually the world's very first successful photograph. And only one mind in the 15th century possessed the genius required to invent such a process. Enter Leonardo da Vinci, the master polymath who secretly experimented with light and chemistry. Historical notes confirm Leonardo spent years perfecting the mechanics of the camera obscura. By projecting light through a glass lens into a dark room, he could cast perfect upside-down images. To capture this projected light permanently, he needed a highly sensitive chemical solution. Alchemy records show that Renaissance scholars were fully aware of light-sensitive silver salts. Scholars argue Leonardo coated an old linen cloth with a thin layer of liquid silver chloride. He then hung the sensitized fabric inside his dark studio box, facing a sculpted model or corpse. Over several days of continuous exposure, the natural sunlight slowly baked the image into the cloth. This precise chemical reaction would create a flawless, permanent negative image on the fibers. Fascinatingly, face comparison software reveals a striking match between the shroud and Leonardo. Did the master artist use his own facial structure to construct the ultimate illusion of Christ? Such a grand deception would protect his heretical scientific discoveries from the brutal Inquisition. It would stand as a quiet masterpiece of science, masquerading as a divine miracle for centuries. Yet, critics of this theory point out that the shroud was documented before Leonardo was even born. Unless an earlier, unknown genius discovered photography, the Da Vinci theory remains an elegant myth. Today, the Turin shroud sits in its climate-controlled vault, guarding its true nature from the world. Each technological breakthrough adds more complexity, deepening the fog around its mysterious creation. Science can chart every atom, but it cannot conquer the final barrier of this ancient riddle. The sacred shroud remains a stunning testament to the ongoing clash between deep faith and pure science. Is this relic a genuine divine miracle or the creation of Leonardo's brilliant mind? Please support our historical journey by clicking the like button and subscribing to this channel now.